right, America. Burger Chef's got thick, juicy, terrific burgers for you.
Welcome to Miss Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the best fast food restaurants that unfortunately no longer exist.
We have fresh ideas at Red Barn.
Why does Red Barn sound like a broken record?
You can go back and go back and go back.
And I'm going back.
Number 30, Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Guess what's cooking now at Yankee Doodle Dandy? Chicken. Crispy fried chicken.
Although it may have been short-lived, it still captured the essence of the United States. With a focus on patriotic branding and plenty of menu options, Yankee Doodle Dandy quickly expanded from one location in 1966 to over 24 in less than a decade. Their willingness to branch out made them a versatile option compared to their competitors. Unfortunately, its success was short-lived. By the early 1980s, the owners had grown weary of the fast food industry and were ready to branch out.
How about a birthday party at Yankee Doodle Dandy? It's a lot of fun.
After converting 2 locations into classic sit-down restaurants, they shut the rest of their original eateries down, quickly bringing an end to what could have been a serious contender in the modern dining game. Number 29, The Training Table. With just 6 locations, Utah's The Training Table was able to make a huge impression.
53 of these babies. That's how many I can put in my mouth at one time.
They were unique in concept, with customers being able to call the kitchen from their tables. First opening their doors in 1977, a financial scare in 2012 nearly caused them to close, but a last-minute buyer kept their heads above water. However, their second chance, unfortunately, wasn't enough to keep them afloat. In 2015, misconduct allegations began to circulate, resulting in a lawsuit the following year. That ended up being the final nail in the coffin, and the franchise's leases were terminated, shutting them down just shy of their 40-year anniversary. Recent rumblings have indicated a possible return of the chain in the future.
Is the nostalgic restaurant still making a comeback? Well, The Training Table tells me the return is still in progress and to keep an eye out for future endeavors. But they couldn't tell me exactly what this would look like or when it would happen.
Number 28, La Petite Boulangerie. Traditional restaurants aren't the only victims of being permanently shut down. La Petite Boulangerie was a West Coast-based bakery that prided themselves on the freshness of their products.
Are you torn between apple and chocolate? Wavering between a cheese or berry croissant?
After being bought by PepsiCo in the early 1980s, the patisserie exploded in popularity, with over 100 locations being opened across the nation. Although it appeared to be highly profitable, drama behind the scenes suggested that their ability to turn a profit had been inflated. Things began to go downhill as the brand continued to be acquired by various companies, all while the number of locations dwindled.
Fresh, hot bread. Fresh, hot bread.
By the start of the new millennium, the once booming franchise was defunct. A sad, swift end for what had once been an industry giant. Number 27, 2 Pesos. In hindsight, a business born out of spite probably isn't the best idea.
Get ready for 2 Pesos Mexican Food Fiesta. It's mouth-watering fun at 2 Pesos for the whole family.
Marno McDermott opened 2 Pesos after his proposal to expand the already established Taco Cabana was rejected. His restaurant quickly became a community favorite in Houston, Texas. Things became messy when Taco Cabana attempted to expand into the metro area and found physical similarities between the two. The taquerias ended up going head-to-head in court, with 2 Pesos being accused of trade dress and stealing the other eateries' ideas.
The way most food comes into some Mexican restaurants is pre-cooked and frozen. But at 2 Pesos, we bring in our ingredients fresh.
It soon escalated to the Supreme Court, who ultimately ruled in favor of Taco Cabana. In the ultimate petty move, McDermott opted to sell the chain to the victors rather than comply with the branding changes he would have had to implement. Number 26, Showbiz Pizza Place. This is proof that winning the battle doesn't mean you've won the war. Following a split between the owners of Chuck E. Cheese, a new pizzeria arcade hybrid was born, Showbiz Pizza Place.
Home for the pizza and stay for the fun at Showbiz Pizza Place.
Complete with games and an animatronic band, they found success and became their old partner's biggest competitor. In 1984, their rival ended up filing for bankruptcy, resulting in their parent company buying the assets and merging the two together again into Showbiz Pizza Time. Although it seemed they would become a household name, the business model was revamped, which included replacing the current animatronic shows with characters from Chuck E. Cheese. Afterwards, it didn't take long for the Showbiz name to be dropped entirely and the restaurants becoming part of Chuck E. Cheese.
When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
Number 25. Dee's Drive-In. As soon as customers saw the signature clown outside each establishment, they knew they were in for a good time.
How do you make a better, bigger burger better?
Soft drink!
With your Super D.
Founded in the 1930s as Dee's Restaurant, the first Dee's Drive-In appeared in the 1950s. By the 1960s, they had become a local icon. At their peak, they served thousands of people a day and amassed over 20 different locations. Despite their success, the family began to focus more on other business ventures in the 1970s, which culminated in their properties being sold to Hardee's.
Dee's Goodie Box. On the outside, there's fun, games, and a cutout mask. And on the inside, there's
a big juicy burger, a bag full of fries, an ice cold drink, and a surprise!
The name continued to live on until the early 2000s. Although the drive-in locations were shuttered, a handful of Dee's family restaurants are still in Utah today. Number 24. Burger Queen. Despite the name, there's no relation between this defunct eatery and the still-standing Burger King. First popping onto the scene in 1956, Burger Queen quickly became a Florida staple.
And I know Burger Queen's got great hamburgers, and their chicken's a good meal, too.
It didn't take long for dozens more to be opened across several states. Although they were known for their burgers, they also became known for more unique features, such as the self-serve salad bar. They were so popular that even a name change in the 1980s didn't have a negative impact on their popularity.
I'd rather go to Druthers Restaurant. I'd rather go to Druthers Restaurant.
However, in 1990, they began to shift their focus to desserts instead, resulting in them becoming operators for Dairy Queen. By the following year, most of the Burger Queen locations had been revamped, bringing about an end to an American classic. Number 23. Chicken George. Although it may not have been the first chicken-based restaurant, it made quite an impact during its tenure. Formed in 1979, Chicken George quickly grew in the 1980s. The founder was extremely dedicated to his product, dedicating hundreds of thousands of dollars to the development of his menu alone. That passion came through in the food, and soon they became the largest black-owned fast food company in the entire country. After being bought twice in a 2-year period, they eventually filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 1991 and dissolved. It was a sudden and underwhelming end to what had once been a cultural icon. Number 22. Pumpernick. One look at this Burger King-like logo is all you need to understand their fate. In 1974, Pumpernick was founded in Argentina, and just a year later became the country's first franchise. They thrived for years before Burger King arrived in the country. A lawsuit ruled in favor of the American company, forcing Pumpernick to change their branding and name. Despite the legal setbacks, the chain still stood until the owner handed the reins over to his sons in 1990. They had no interest in continuing the legacy, leading them to sell the eatery in 1995. Things continued to spiral until they officially went bankrupt in 1999. A sad end for what had once been Argentina's pride and joy. Number 21. Horn and Hardart. An establishment can be so iconic that it's referenced in pop culture for decades. But even that doesn't ensure its longevity.
The rise of fast food was coming at us, and there were no dollar bill receivers. There were no credit card processors. So the consumer fell out of favor with the automat. So the point is, technology killed the automat in the 70s.
Horn and Hardart were synonymous with early automation, with their vending machine style of operation becoming the go-to method for countless people. They became a reliable staple during the Great Depression, providing affordable and varied options for those struggling. Its prominence led to it being mentioned in movies and television. However, what had once benefited from industrialization soon became a victim of it. They were quickly outpaced as the era of fast food began. Their attempts to modernize fell short, and by 1991, the last Horn and Hardart had closed. and in turn ended an era of casual dining that is yet to make a broad return. Number 20. Winkies. If you're going to sell and distribute meat to the masses, why not grind them into burgers and sell those too?
Winkies makes you happy to be hungry lots of ways. Can you name 10 of them? Ready? Go!
Picnic and chicken, great ones, cheeseburgers, fish and chips, big wings, milkshakes, French fries, great roast beef, turnovers.
That might be what the Ehrenstein brothers were thinking back in 1962 when they founded Winkies restaurant chain that served the surrounding Pittsburgh area. Burgers with names like the Big Wink and the Ground Rounder were the orders of the day, while Winkies also had a fun sense of humor when it came to their television advertising.
Terrific! Yep, free turnovers with dinner is just another way Winkies makes you happy to be hungry.
You said it, Frank.
The fact that the Ehrensteins essentially had access to their own supply chain definitely helped sell the freshness of their product. Unfortunately, that didn't assist Winkies in surviving a poor regional economy, and the chain officially closed for good in 1982. Number 19. Mighty Casey's. Mighty Casey's was something of a regional staple in the Atlanta, Georgia area, until it was bought out and converted to another southeastern franchise by the name of Crystal.
Well, I like them. I've had them since I was a little girl. We've always eaten Crystals.
That said, non-Georgians could be forgiven for not hearing of either of these chains. But as the saying goes, if you know, you know. That's because Mighty Casey's served up delicious dogs, yummy shakes, wings, and more to a hungry populace, all the while touting their premium ingredients and service. Mighty Casey's knew that consumers could get their burgers and dogs anywhere, and did their best to keep their clientele coming back, right to the end.
Hot out the grill, steam it, steam it. Hot out the grill, steam it, steam it.
Number 18. Sandy's. It was a bygone age, an age prior to the establishment of Hardee's within the fast food landscape. Here, it was Sandy's that fed hungry consumers their servings of burgers and fries in the American Midwest.
Sandy's Big Scott. When you're hungry for something giant size, Sandy's Big Scott takes a prize.
Sandy's actually started out as a failed attempt to open up a set of McDonald's franchises in central Illinois, and ended up opening as competition to Mickey D's burgeoning success back in the late 50s. Sandy's held a Scottish theme, but their franchises, which were operator-owned, were encouraged to tailor their service to their local communities.
Here's where they make the hamburgers. And here's a thick shake machine. Wow, look at those crispy fries.
As a result, Sandy's stood out from the uniform nature of their competitors, although this didn't stop the chain from being bought out by Hardee's in the early 70s. Number 17. Puppin' Taco. Who said anyone had to choose between ordering hot dogs or tacos during a stop at the local drive-in? Not the founders of Puppin' Taco, who proudly fed both to hungry Californians throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Oh, how good Puppin' Taco can be. You're gonna love the way we make the things you like to eat. So come on into Puppin' Taco and give your tummy a treat. Can we come back tomorrow?
These weren't the only items on the menu either, as Puppin' Taco also served up hot pastrami sandwiches, tostadas, and slushies for both dine-in and takeout service. The chain also made a name for itself in the pop culture world, thanks to being mentioned in movies like the comedy classic Fletch.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Puppin' Taco.
Celebrity buzz aside, Puppin' Taco did just fine for itself until the mid-80s, when all of its franchises were sold off to Taco Bell. Number 16. Wetson's. The fast food chain known as Wetson's seemed to have, well, let's say, difficulty in standing out from the pack. This might explain why the greater New York chain felt the need to mimic McDonald's and White Castle slogans in their own marketing, while also naming their signature sandwich the Big W in reference to that other famous burger. Regardless, Wetson's plugged along, but struggled to keep up with the progress Mickey D's and Burger King were having on the East Coast. The chain barely lasted 15 years from its founding in 1959, merging with Nathan's Famous in 1975. Although the trademark to the Wetson's name is still technically held in New York to this day.
One thing is clear, after more than a century...
These are great. It's been a long time since I've had an really good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's still an American classic.
Number 15. Jerry's Hamburgers. Jerry's Hamburgers was a Midwestern U.S. chain that was once owned and operated by a former McDonald's VP who was actively working to carve out some competition in and around the Illinois and Wisconsin area. What helped set Jerry's apart at first was their dedication to a takeout model, as opposed to the comparatively more popular practice of indoor seating. The chain actually didn't have much room at all inside for customers to eat, although this was tempered later on down the road in an attempt to remain competitively viable with other growing chains. Jerry's lasted until about 1981, with occasional resurrections of the brand happening until the early 2000s, shortly after the last physical location closed in 1999. Number 14. Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken. Believe it or not, there was a big-time trend, particularly in the 60s and 70s, for celebrities to lend their names to various fast food restaurants. One such celebrity was famous country music personality and comedian Minnie Pearl and the chain of fried chicken joints that bore her name.
Most folks say Minnie Pearl's chicken is the best going, but you'll never know till you try it.
A number of factors led to the decline of Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken, not the least of which was that each franchise was apparently allowed to tinker with their own recipes without any brand consistency. This actually didn't stop customers from digging pretty hard into Minnie Pearl's vittles, but accusations of fraud with regards to their business practices and stock prices led to this chicken chain going foul. Number 13. Little Chef. We're heading to the UK for our next entry, Little Chef, a once popular chain that did its best to replicate the sort of diner experience that's seen today as traditional Americana.
Who understands that some people like a freshly cooked breakfast last thing at night? And who's happy if you want a freshly cooked dinner first thing in the morning?
This meant capitalizing on roadside service for traveling customers and offering hearty breakfast fare for an affordable price.
Every day, we welcome thousands of customers into our restaurants, stopping off for a variety of reasons: business, pleasure, maybe a quick stop on a long journey.
Competition ultimately put Little Chef out of business by 2018, although the chain's website is surprisingly still active. This may be due to Little Chef's trademark also being active via a Kuwaiti investment, although all of the chain's locations listed on the website have since shut their doors or have been converted into other chains like Greg's, Starbucks, or McDonald's. Number 12. Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. We gotta give props to Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor for making it nearly 60 years in the business, opening back in 1963 and enduring straight on to 2019. Piano music and free birthday sundaes were a big part of the Farrell appeal back in the day, as well as a fun sense of humor.
Remember the happy birthdays?
Happy birthday to you!
And remember the monster bowls of ice cream?
Their menus were printed to look like a not-so-serious newspaper, with tons of tabloid jokes alongside Farrell's array of sandwiches, sodas, and sweets. A low-calorie menu even featured fake foods that were designed to laugh away any feelings of guilt associated with any culinary overindulgence.
In fact, there's only one place so crazy, so totally wacko, that everybody has a party.
Ultimately, a buyout from Marriott and a heavy debt signaled the end for this once proud and beloved eatery. Number 11. Sambo's. We ask you, what's in a name? Well, a lot if you're the controversially titled Sambo's, where the original portmanteau of founders' names Sam Battistone Sr. and Newell Bonnet ended up leaning into some racially charged territory.
You can go to Sambo's day or night. The food is good, the price is right. You can eat dinner anytime.
And you can dine for $1.99 at Sambo's.
The chain's visual aesthetic was inspired by the book The Story of Little Black Sambo, which was one of the first to positively portray an African-American hero within children's literature.
Once upon a time, there was a little black boy, and his name was Little Black Sambo.
The 70s saw many franchises battling the public perception of the name and the decor, with many deciding to change their name. This trend lasted straight into the modern day as well, with the last operating Sambo's, run by Battistone's grandson, changing its name to Chad's in 2020. Number 10. Little Tavern. If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Perhaps this was the idea behind the structural design of Little Tavern, a hamburger chain that flourished in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area for decades.
By 1950, there are 50 little taverns in just Baltimore and Washington, just the Baltimore and Washington area. So he's doing very well.
Their franchises were initially designed to closely resemble the popular White Castle and White Tower buildings that were in the area. However, eventually, Little Tavern would develop a Tudor cottage-style design of their own that served to differentiate the restaurant from the other options. Although Little Tavern would struggle after the original owner, Harry F. Duncan, sold the company in 1981. Little Tavern would limp on through the 90s, officially close up shop in 2008, and sell their recipes to the Laurel, Maryland location, which now operates as Laurel Tavern Donuts.
There was a time in Baltimore where just about everywhere you went, you could always find a little tavern shop. But the last one has closed.
Number 9. Doggy Diner. Never underestimate the power of a good mascot. This might be why the otherwise obscure hot dog and burger chain known as Doggy Diner continues to live on in the memory of Californians today.
Everyone in San Francisco pretty much knew of Doggy Diner.
Andre Robertson, just one of countless people who have fond memories of the Bay Area's own Doggy Diners.
Doggy Diner had an adorable dachshund head that greeted guests to their chains, and it still exists today as a San Francisco national landmark. The San Francisco Giants even adopted the Doggy Diner name to the hot dogs that they served in their park, offering further credence to the idea that if you faithfully serve your public with good food and great service, they'll remember and come back.
By serving high-quality food, it quickly became a favorite. Everyone craved the tasty Doggy Diner hot dogs, hamburgers, pastrami sandwiches, and extra creamy milkshakes.
Number 8. Geno's Hamburgers. We've got to give it up to the late former Baltimore Colts football star Geno Marchetti, because he took his restaurant dream and ran with it, which lives on in one form to this day.
Take a look at this. Right now, participating Geno's, you can get the famous Geno's Giant, along with regular fries for just 99 cents.
That's because a new venture, Geno's Burgers and Chicken, is still operating at the time of this writing, although the original Geno's Hamburgers has sadly become a thing of the past. This was Geno's first attempt at selling food to the public, and actually did quite well on their home turf, merging with another local spot, Tops Drive-In.
I go for Geno's because I go for good food, and Howard can go for whatever he wants.
What'd you say you're going for?
Geno's, you go for the food.
It was when Northeastern expansion happened that Geno's Hamburgers began to struggle, eventually selling to the Marriott Corporation, which discontinued the brand in the mid-'80s. Number 7. Lions. So you've probably heard the brand phrase, "Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee." But how about nobody doesn't like Lions? Well, it turns out that quite a few customers did like Lions, a chain of 24-hour diners that was the Sara Lee Company's attempt at competing with Denny's.
Hurry into Lions and eat like a king.
The earliest origins of Lions actually date back to the early 50s, and many of the locations were centered around the California area.
Just breakfast bargain every weekday morning. Hurry into Lions and eat like a king.
But nothing lasts forever, with Lions limping along to about 2012, then reopening 3 locations in 2015, before finally saying farewell 2 years later. Number 6. Delights. Let's face it, no one really goes to fast food restaurants for healthy eats. Still, that didn't stop Delights from trying to provide a healthier alternative at a point in history prior to the bigger chains even giving a passing thought to lighter fare. The chain was founded in Georgia back in the late 70s, offering up healthier substitutions and ingredients in the land of delicious drive-ins and badass barbecue. In a way, Delights were pioneers, but they couldn't compete when the McDonald's and Burger Kings of the world also began serving up healthy alternatives. In an ironic twist, many of the remaining Delights locations were converted into Hardee's, which are probably one of the least healthy fast food options out there. Number 5. Wags. What do you think of when the Walgreens brand of pharmacy and convenience chains comes to mind? How about sit-down dining? Well, that was the idea behind Wags, a franchise of 24-hour diner-type establishments owned and operated by the Walgreens folks.
Today's a great day for Wags.
They were around primarily during the 1970s and 80s and tried like hell to compete with other big names in that market, such as Denny's. Unfortunately for Walgreens, the idea of eating in a place that shares similar iconography as the place where you grab cold medicine didn't take, and Wags was sold to the Marriott Hotel Corporation in 1988. Any remaining Wags locations were eventually shuttered and turned into places like Shoney's or IHOP. Number 4. Red Barn. There were few fast food chains that welcomed as many competitors as Kentucky Fried Chicken. One strong contender to the Colonel's throne was Red Barn, which at one point saw franchises in America, Canada, and even Australia.
I've had big burgers before, but never with flavor like this.
The folks at Red Barn liked to lay claim to being the first to pioneer a salad bar, and their fried chicken was deep fried and prepared in pressure cookers designed exclusively for the Red Barn chain.
We have fresh ideas at Red Barn.
Why does Red Barn sound like a broken record?
You can go back and go back and go back.
And I'm going back.
The chain was eventually laid low by real estate interests when its parent company allowed their leases to expire and ceased promotion and advertising for the brand. Red Barns closed one by one, with the remaining locations being turned into McDonald's restaurants. Number 3. Lum's.
Okay, let me at that great Lum's food. Just drop me in. Ooh, guess I shouldn't have said drop. Lucky I'm well padded. Hey, where's my food?
Sure, you've all heard of a Big Mac or a Whopper, but what about an Ollie Burger? Many customers flocked to the Lum's chains for this after it obtained the recipe in 1971.
I love the Ollie Burger.
Many other family-style treats attracted patrons throughout the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s. The brand actually did pretty good for itself after humble beginnings as a simple hot dog cart, even managing to snag Hollywood icon Milton Berle as a spokesperson for a time.
The Ollie Burger. Don't nobody move until I get my bacon burger. All Lum's burgers are cooked to order. All choice beef.
The bankruptcy of its parent company sadly led to Lum's limping off into the sunset. But fear not, for a spiritual successor named Ollie's Trolley does exist in Washington, D.C. So head on there if you're searching for a little slice of restaurant nostalgia. Number 2. Burger Chef.
Nowhere else but Burger Chef. Nowhere else but Burger Chef.
You may be very familiar with all the main names in the fast food burger wars out there, from McDonald's and Wendy's to Burger Chef. Wait, you've never heard of Burger Chef?
You're gonna love our burgers.
Open wide America, you never can forget. You get more to like at Burger Chef.
Well, at one time, this fast food brand was so popular that it had its sights set firmly on those golden arches. One of the reasons for its success? It was the first chain to offer a kids' meal.
There's more to like at Burger Chef.
You're incredibly better.
The company even tried suing McDonald's when the Happy Meal was introduced back in '79, claiming the idea was too close to its own. The Burger Chef branding also included plenty of commercials, as well as a cast of cartoon mascots, including Count Fangburger.
Fang salad. I'm happy. What you going to get at Burger Chef? Delicious food in a happy place.
Incredible.
The chain was sold by its parent company, with many remaining restaurants converting into Hardee's.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Howard Johnson's.
On the road around the corner, here's the place to go. The orange roof of Howard Johnson's. Join the folks who know.
We've covered a lot of bygone restaurants during this list, but Howard Johnson's might be one of the most missed. That's largely due to its status as an icon of America, of the open road, of stopping for a quick bite to eat off the highway in the family car.
I remember Howard Johnson's. We used to pile in the car as kids.
Oh yeah, that's what they did. Let's pile in the station wagons. We're all going to Howard Johnson's.
It's the sort of roadside attraction that, well, attracted so many diners to the chain, thanks to the restaurant's family atmosphere and warm retro decor. Oh, and the clam strips. Definitely the clam strips.
Tender, sweet, deeply crusted and golden brown. Crispy, crunchy, sweet as a nut.
One Howard Johnson's, in name only, did hang on for years in Lake George, New York. However, many questioned its legitimacy due to its different menu, limited hours, and the arrest of its manager for sexual harassment. It closed in 2022. What defunct fast food brand defined your childhood? Let us know in the comments below.